Hello and welcome to the final video of the year. There are 4 things that I'm going to cover. First will be, what are the latest government cock-ups? No, I mean changes. Number 2, what is the major cause of stress in your life? Number 3, the Matthew effect. And number 4, compound interest. These things will sound bizarre now, but tune in to make sense of them here. So first, the government's latest announcement, if you're not in year 11 and year 13, is to give you an extra week's holiday. So you will have 2 weeks holiday coming up after Christmas instead of just 1. If, however, you are in year 11 and year 13, you will go into school as normal and be taught by your teachers. This is the government's clearest signal yet that no matter how bad things get with COVID, they're anticipating exams to go ahead. Now, that's good news for you because it gives you a level of certainty. And with the vaccines rolling out, even if they're at half the speed that the government predict, then certainly by the summer, every vulnerable person in the population will already have had it and the virus will be close to getting under control. That R number will start falling below 1. So, yes, you'll get to do your exams. I don't know how excited you are about that or how depressed. And which brings me on to the major cause of stress. Stress happens to us mainly when things occur in our lives which are outside our control. And the last 12 months have felt exactly like that. And the way to cope with that is to start thinking about how you can get control back. And it's actually really easy to control your revision once you know, and I think we do, that exams will happen. And the government has said that the English exams and the maths exams will definitely happen, even if there's a catastrophe which stops other exams happening. So how should you revise? Well, this is where the Matthew effect comes in. So there's probably a television program that you love or a YouTube channel or a sport that you love that would make you a kind of expert compared to me, where I might not have heard of this channel or TV series or whatever. Now imagine we're sitting together and somebody tells us a really interesting fact connected to that thing you're a semi-expert in. Well, to me, that would just be a really random fact and it would be really hard for me to recall it later, but not for you. You would have the Matthew effect. In the Matthew effect, you already have a lot of stuff given to you already. And that stuff is your expert knowledge. When you get this new fact, it will automatically latch on to stuff you already know. And it will be really difficult for you not to remember that fact because it will link to so many things you already know about that favourite show or sport or whatever it is. So how does revision work? It works exactly like that. The more you know, the easier it is to acquire new information because it always has something cool to link to. Well, what does that mean for your revision? It means it makes sense to know a lot of facts, a lot of stuff, because that will help you link all your new learning to your existing learning. This is where we come to the miracle of compound interest. So let's imagine for 1 minute in this thought experiment that you could get 1% better every day. Well, you might think it would take you 100 days to get 100% better. But compound interest is magic. So I'm going to show you how you will get much better than 100% in 100 days. Okay, let's imagine with this compound interest calculator that whatever I know at the minute, we're going to rank at 100, just so that we can see how the percentages work. We're not going to add anything to our 100 apart from our interest rate. This tells me a yearly growth, but I'm going to assume that this is the same as a day. So let's put in 100 days. So if we get 1% better every day for 100 days, you might think, oh, well, our 100 score will turn into 200. We're going to assume that it's 1% better. Let's have a look at what happens. No, instead, we would become not just a score of 200, but 270. In other words, we would get 170% better than when we started, even though we've only got 1% better a day for 100 days. And then we'll look at the thought experiment of, well, what if you could do it for 365 days for a year, 1% better? How much better would you be? Would you just end up being 300% or 3 times better? Or would the figure be astonishingly different? Now, if we look at that as 365 days, the compound interest has a much bigger effect. Let's check it out. Well, you can see that we would get 37 times better, because that's the way compound interest works. Now, you might say, well, that's a really interesting thought experiment, Mr. Salles, but I'm never going to get 1% better every day. Well, that's a good argument. So let's imagine that you got 1% better every week, and let's see what happens. Well, over 52 weeks, we're going to get 67% better instead of 52% better. Now, the problem is if I leave that till April, where I might only have 12 weeks to revise, how much better am I likely to get? Well, I'm only going to increase by about 12%. So you can see doing a little bit of revision now and every day is going to have the impact of compound interest and make me so much smarter. And the reason I want you to think about it like that is because revision is like that because of the Matthew effect I've just described. When you get 1% better and you're already really good, you're going to get a hell of a lot better compared to someone who's not very good and gets 1% better. And the only way to do that is to gain control of your revision and start doing a little bit every day. If you do a little bit every day, you will benefit from that sense of control. You'll feel less stressed. You'll benefit from the Matthew effect because you'll know more, and you'll benefit from compound interest. You'll just get cleverer and cleverer and cleverer. Good luck next year. See you soon on my channel.